everybody, it's Romania Black, and I cannot believe that I am saying this, but as I'm recording this, we will be caught up with Natsume's Book of Friends. That is a surreal saying. I went to go look up when I started Natsume's Book of Friends. Like, when did we start this journey? I'm going to go back to this next week because we have the manga to go through next week. But I started reacting to the anime back in April of 2024. A year and a half ago, I started watching week to week with Natsume's Book of Friends, and it has been such a journey, and I've been so excited about that. So it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird not having Natsume every week. The good news is that I was telling the moderators, there's another show on my channel that's on Fridays right now as I'm recording this, that I feel like is the spiritual successor of Natsume, and it's now my comfort show. So I'm excited to have a series similar to Natsume on the channel that can be my comfort anime that I can go to each week, because I'll be honest, Natsume has been for the last year and a half my go-to show. If I've been feeling bad, if I've had a bad day, if I was like, I just need something to watch that's going to make me feel better, Natsume was the show that I would turn to, like bar none, unless I was too far ahead and I was like, oh, I need to watch something else. And this show that's on my channel now on Fridays is similar to Natsume in that vein, but I was talking to the moderator Plore, and we were talking about it and saying that, yeah, there is no show like Natsume. There's just no show like Natsume. And I'll talk about it further in the discussion after this OVA. But I was really sad a few weeks ago when I was like, oh, episode 86 is coming up and episode 12 of season 7, and that's going to be the end. And then I still have the manga and the character tier ranking, which is exciting. But then I got this like giant boost of energy when I found out that this OVA was happening and was going to be translated and I could watch it. I was so excited about it, and now it's here and I'm excited, but I'm not fully sad yet. I think next week I will be sad. I've gone ahead and I recorded a tier ranking of all of the yokai in Natsume's Book of Friends because I was requested to do that months and months ago. So I have done that. That's going to be airing the first week of December on the channel before we start the new series. So that's going to be there. That's exciting. But next week will be the last recording that I do for Natsume, which will be about the manga catch-up. I'm mainly recording this episode a little bit ahead because I want to have time to read all the volumes of manga that I need to catch up on. So that's kind of the reason I'm recording it a little bit ahead of time. So next week I'm going to be very sad. This week is kind of like the beginning of my sadness that we're caught up with Natsume. I am not going to react to the manga that occurs past season 7. I'm sorry. I love this anime too much, and I'm going to wait till season 8. And I don't want people pestering me in the comments to read it. Please respect this content creator's decisions. I've thought long and hard about it. This was not a decision taken lightly, but I love the anime too much to not go in blind. And honestly, you don't want to watch me react when I already know what's going to happen. It's just not the same vibe. It's not the same. And I'm not somebody that can fake reactions and be like, oh, like that's just not me. So I'm not a faker. So is what it is. But I am going to be really, really sad because I know that the hiatuses between seasons can take years. I know that. I'm aware of that walking into this. But the series is too special to me to not want to savor it as season 8 comes up. And 8's my lucky number. How can I not watch season 8? So here's me hoping that they make a season 8 of Natsume's Book of Friends, and I will be there, like, come hell or high water, to watch it with you all. But with that being said, I do have a couple comments I want to talk about before we dive into this OVA. I'm so excited we have an OVA. I was like, seasons 5 and 6 spoiled me because I was like, seasons 1 through 4, I was like, oh, there's an OVA. That's cool. That's neat. That's something new. And then season 5 and 6, I've kind of gotten spoiled with the idea of having OVAs. I'm like, oh, there's going to be an extra. Don't you worry. So I have been rather spoiled. So I was starting to get a little bit sad that this season didn't have one. And then lo and behold, here we are. Who knew? But anyway, to go along with that, I want to talk about these two comments. DJ Laxma for season 7, episode 9 and 10. They had a really good comment that is on that episode saying, now that you're almost caught up, I'm honored to reveal the Matoba Natori ship name, Horrible Exorcist. And I was like, Fun fact, your reaction here aligns very well with Hexfest, in which fans of horrible exorcists celebrate these two because their birthdays are both in November. Feel free to call them Scorpios. I don't know, Scorpio and Scorpio together, I feel like that butts heads a lot, right? But we love to doom Yowie, so... Actually, that makes a lot of sense because around the time that episodes 9 and 10 of season 7 were airing on Patreon, my Discord had a lot of Matoba and Natori fan art being posted. And finally, I was like, man, we have a lot of this. And I think it was Shimoyama. They were like, oh yeah, there's like a fan holiday happening around this time. And I was like, oh, okay. They were very intentionally vague to not spoil me of what was to come. So that's really good to know. But that's awesome. I love that. We've talked long and hard about that ship, but knowing they're both Scorpios is interesting. And then Sunspots had this comment for episode 11 of season 7. I loved meeting Soko. She was wonderful. And seeing that she was the origin of Reiko's kind of coping mechanism and pattern was truly bittersweet. The discussion around Reiko's tendency to distance herself first preemptively and protecting herself, it all links so well back to Natsume's earlier tendency to assume the worst. Soko worked really hard to get close to Reiko, but unfortunately, at the very first sign of even accidental distance, Reiko sprinted away. It's so painful to watch because the pattern is so understandable, born of trauma, but still somewhat unkind. Knowing Natsume managed to break himself out of that same pattern is so good. And Soranome made me cry as well, the way he really wanted to bring these two together. There's an amazing dub line in this episode. No amount of enthusiasm helped my voice to reach her. He really tried. Well, one, yes, I'm so glad that Natsume, as we come to the end of season 7, has broken away from the trauma cycle of what Reiko has gone through, seemingly. I'm glad that that's happened. Also, Sunspot's comments are making me realize that while I'm on hiatus with this series, I do still have the dub. So that's something. That's exciting. I'm excited about that. So wonderful times, really. But thank you both for the comments. Thank you to everybody who has commented and will continue to comment about the series. I check comments all the time. So even if there are comments back from episode 1, I'll see them and I'll check them. If I think that there might be a spoiler, I'll have the mod check over it. But otherwise, I love reading people's comments about the series and what they've thought about it. And now that I'm caught up with the anime, it's all the more. Speaking of mods, I want to give a special shout out to Plor. Plor has been moderating alongside Sunspots occasionally because there were a few times that Sunspots needed to step in. They've been moderating for this series for 1.5 years, which is insane. You all have donated your time. Sunspots has helped in a few times, but Plor has donated their time for 1.5 years in moderating this series week to week. So I want to give a shout out to Plor. Thank you for not letting me get spoiled. Thank you for moderating and checking those comments every week. Thank you for being so kind to volunteer your time to do that. I greatly appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed. And that was really nice of you. So all of my love. Thank you. But yeah, this feels weird. This feels weird. It doesn't feel so weird when it's a short series and you're just like, oh, well, that's the end. Oh, well, this has like been since April of last year. So it's been a good 1.5 years run week to week. And not having Natsume after next week is going to be... It's going to be a weird feeling. I'm not ready for that. We're not going to talk about that until next week, though. We're not going to talk about that until next week. That's fine. And maybe I'll have more comments for episodes 11 and 12 to talk about next week. We'll see. I will still answer these comments for this video, and then any that are relevant, I read my comments off of a document that I have saved on my computer for each show that I watch. And then shows that are on hiatus for the next series, I do keep a separate document because I'm an organized teacher and I'm crazy. So I keep a separate document with any comments that I want to bring up in the future. So I'll just save them there. It'll be fine. But yeah, I am really excited. I really wanted to record this early specifically to dive into the manga because I'm ready. I'm ready to read volumes like 18 through 24 and to get into those six or seven volumes. I'm just ready for it. So anyway, we'll talk about that next week. But in the meantime, I hope you all are excited. It's been 10 minutes. We might as well dive into this. We are going to look into Natsume's Book of Friends, the OVA episode 13 of season 7. And we are going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. I'm so excited. I get one more week One more week with this series. With this OP. Yes, this OP is so good. I just want to savor this OP one more time. That's all I want to do is just to savor it. That's it. This has been one of my favorites. We might have to talk about ranking the OP and EDs after this, actually. We might need to talk about that. I'm going to make a little mental note. I'm going to make a little mental note of that. I'm going to write that down. Yeah, we're going to write that down and save that. I can't believe we're going to get OVA! Ah! So excited. One more show. And it's a Natori episode! Yes! We've been... Oh, he didn't have the usual disgusted reaction. Okay. So is this post episodes 9 and 10 then? Oh no! Nyanko-sensei! Oh! Oh! Heck no. I mean, Natori looks amazing. No hug. Oh. Are we doing flashback mode? No hug. Okay. Okay. Is this before he had familiars? Oh. Interesting. Oh, wow. Damn! Everybody's so mean to him. Oh, is this your version of Suji? Tomida's giving you all the good stuff. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Oh. Ooh. Ah! Go poke it. Oh, wow. It's like a familiar of an exorcist passing on that meeting. Okay. Is it going to be Matoba? Is it going to be Matoba? The outstretched hand. Well, I mean, that was an outstretched stick, but it could also refer to Tomita giving him that. I wonder if he's encountered a yokai. Oh. Interesting. That damn plane. That damn plane. Get you every time. Now, are you going to run him off if you reveal that there's a yokai involved? Yeah, you're clearly being affected by it. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh, wow. I love the animation of this. Oh. Oh, he doesn't have his glasses on. Oh, wow. Oh. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That was really well animated. That was great. He's like, bitch, I ain't. Ooh, like this is. So he gets this a lot? You are not ugly. You have like women fawning over you, but I guess he's in high school. He doesn't know that. Oh. Oh. Oh shit. Oh my god. Yeah, I was wondering if that was like gonna come back to bite him, but yeah, it did. Oh. What's he gonna tell the exorcist? Is he gonna see Matoba or is he gonna talk to his mentor? Oh my god. But that looks like a person. Oh wow. Ah! Oh wow, so he's not the heir yet. Does he notice the yokai? Mm. Ah. Hmm. Funny that Natori is the opposite of that. Of course. Right. Well, and what better way? Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, tell him. Damn it. Okay. Hey! Oh! Yeah. So it wasn't him. I thought it was Takuma. Oh, it's Nanase! Oh my god! Oh man. From the Matoba clan. Okay. She's not here. She's with Matoba. Oh, don't be mean. Don't be mean. Oh. Oh. Interesting. Oh, wow. Hmm. Has he? Told you all about him, huh? Huh? Hmm. Suppose so. Is it her familiar that was tainted? Nanase's such a boss. Love her. Such a boss. Oh, yeah, actually. Hmm. Which is why they have the artificial ones. Interesting. I love this as the OVA. That's somewhat scary. I don't think they're playing a prank. I'd be more suspicious of it. Oh. Oh, Natori, that explains so much. Clearly, Matoba noticed it. Oh my god. That's terrifying. Oh. Hmm. Oh. Oh, don't say he's creepy. I hope he shows up at the class reunion, a successful actor, and y'all are just working. Blah, blah. We'll talk about in the discussion. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, is this a different yokai? I thought it was the same one. Oh, it's the one Nanase saw at the party. Oh, does the... Is the whole ivy thing why it brought back that memory? Because it's the ivy on the tree is what Madara's wrapped up in? You're not ugly. So she was talking about herself. Mm. Oh. Oh. Wow. Is she talking about in her first life or as a yokai? Mm. Oh. Oh. Don't tell her that and her being evil so that you'll exercise her. No, you should not have ignored it. No. I feel like it takes more strength to tell her no. Oh. Wow. Is his bedroom... Oh, yeah. Isn't his bedroom in the study room? Oh, my gosh. Oh, I don't think he cares. Huh! Hmm. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, he can see it. Yeah. Because he can see more stronger yokai. Mm. Okay. Well, we don't know that. Are you jealous? Huh. Oh! Well, that's what he said he was going to do. Ha! Oh. Is it the same one? Hmm. Mm. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it! Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh. But he didn't let you fall, did he? Hmm. First name. Interesting. Interesting. Oh. Oh my. No, you're not. Liza Minnelli. I was like, they look the same. I was going to bring it up. I was going to bring it up because they look similar. Oh. Oh. Ooh. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, it's one of his familiars. Oh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. We're going to talk about this. That was so good, y'all. That was so good. So freaking good. We really have been spoiled, haven't we? We really have been spoiled. You haven't seen Matoba in 8 years? Now you get him twice in the same season. Look at you. Spoiled, spoiled, spoiled. Okay. Oh, man, y'all. Oh. I'm like, is that going to be it? Ooh, that's it. Oh, watch this again. Oh. Oh, it did remind him of his familiar. Oh, so good. It's such a good episode. It's such a good episode. Oh, man. Okay. So I'm going to be honest. I feel like episode 12, The Path of Dreams, perfect place to end the season. Perfect place, perfect little season ender. Like, just rounded out the whole thing. I was like, that, put the little button on it, like, close the book. That was a perfect season conclusion. I'm not mad at this. This was amazing. One thing that I really liked about the Outstretched Hand being the OVA is, one, it was Natori and Matoba centered, which we've already had like a two-parter a few weeks ago. So it's pretty fresh, the interactions between Matoba and Natori in that episode, which is years later. But I liked that it was a Natori and Matoba centered OVA. So we'd gotten the little button, the little close the book on Natsume's moment, and now we gave Natori and Matoba like something extra to end the season with. And man, for those of you that waited 8 years to see Matoba on screen, you got him twice in a season. You got Natori 3 times. Like, insane. Insane, insane. The yokai that's Urahime is Natori's familiar. And so I brought Whiteboard Kun out because I want to talk about some things involving this episode. And plus, it's the last time Whiteboard Kun is going to be associated with Natsume for some time, so why not? But yeah, so we have Natori, and Natori has his first familiar is Urahime. We know that the third one is Hiragi, because Hiragi happens in season 1. So we know that Hiragi is the last one. And then is it Sasago? Is it Sasago? I can't remember correctly. You're gonna put a question mark there. They're clearly the second one. They've come along. It was nice seeing the moment that Natori gained a familiar, and I like the idea that Natori watched Natsume unravel. Madara cannot help but be the most precious. Can we just establish that? Madara had to be the most precious because they had to be the most precious. That they get to, unravel them, and that got them to thinking about the snake gourd vine and when they first met Urahime. Now, I've had some people in the comments try to tell me of like, oh, well, this will happen later on, or there'll be more arcs and stuff. Please, if you comment down below, do not talk about the manga. Do not talk about what's to come. I will experience it when I experience it. If you're going to talk amongst yourselves, spoiler tag that, please, so that I don't read it and you don't give my mods a headache as well. I just asked for that. But yeah, let's get past this OP. I did go ahead and rank the OPs and EDs because I feel like they needed to be ranked. I went down and put my rankings on there before we started talking about this episode. So here's my rankings down below, or I'll write them on here, of my EDs and OPs. So as far as the OPs go, I'm gonna put them right here. As far as the OPs go, my least favorite OP was the original. Just because if you go back and watch the first one, I'm basing this mostly off of the visuals and not the song. The songs for all the Natsume OPs are fine. I like all the songs. Now the ED, the song did come into play as to what my favorite ED was. It did make a difference, the song did, of what my favorite ED was. But OP, I think all the OP songs are very similar. They're different, obviously. But they're similar in terms of quality. So I like the OP lyrics and songs pretty across the board the same. It's the visuals that I wanted to focus on. And the first one, we've had 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the OG one, season 1, is my least favorite opening, but it's still pretty good. My second least favorite, and I think I said this back when we were watching it, was season 5. Season 5 is probably my second to least favorite OP, only because a lot of that OP is just repeating imagery from previous seasons, and I was like, and I just visually, there is a really good shot of Natsume and Reiko back to back. I love that shot in the OP, but other than that, I was like, it's not really my favorite. Then season 3 comes next. I like season 3's OP a lot. The iconic rooftop scene at the end where Natsume's about to fall off the roof and everyone's waiting down below. That is iconic. I will never forget that OP scene, but the rest of it's fine. The rest of it is okay. Then I put season 4 down as 4th. I like season 4. I like kid Natsume versus adult Natsume. I liked the intertwining of that. It kind of reminds me a little bit more of my third favorite, which is season 6, which also features an adult Natsume interacting with kid version of Natsume. So season 4 and season 6, you could interchange them, I suppose, if you wanted to, but they both deal with Natsume confronting his younger self, and I think that's important. So my second favorite OP is this one from season 7. I love season 7's OP. It's so good. The song is so catchy. It's so folksy. And the imagery is just beautiful. I love the Reiko and Natsume coming together in this OP. It looks so good. But my favorite OP is season 2. Season 2, going back and listening to it, it was such a nostalgia bomb. And it's not been that long since I've heard it. But I was just like, yeah. And season 2's OP was so hype. It was just like, there's Taki, there's all these characters. I was like, what's going to happen? There's all these yokai. I remember watching season 2's OP for the first time and just being so excited for what was going to happen in that season. So yeah, season 2 is my favorite. Season 7 is my silver. And you could toss up between 6 and 4 as my other ones. But yeah, season 7 and 2 are my favorite OPs. Then we talk about EDs. Now, the song does make a difference for my favorite ED, but if we had to go through our EDs, my least favorite ED was the first one. It's fine. I do want to talk about how each of them are different seasons that are represented for Natsume. Season 1's ED was spring. I like that ED. It's very simple. It's like it set the tone for the series. It was so relaxing and calm. It just for me is it's the least, a least of 7 really good EDs. Now season 6's ED is my second least favorite. It's the one with the Twilight scene. Season 6's ED is okay. It's all right. It's fine. It's not my favorite. Now, similarly to how, similarly, what do I have here next? Oh, did I put season? Okay, I did. Never mind. Now, seasons 4 and season 2 are both snow related, and I almost got them confused. So season 2 is going to be here for the next ED. It's snow themed. I remembered it well, but I kept thinking, I was like, where's the igloo? I liked the igloo. That was season 4. So season 4's ED is right here in 4th place. Man, season 4 like cut the middle of the grade like perfectly. But I love the igloo and that ED and the little song and everything. It's super cute. Then it gets really close to the top 3. It was really close between my second and my third. Super close. I had to go back and listen to them again. But I'm gonna put season 3 as my third ED. I love the fireworks. Visually, it's one of my favorite EDs. Visually, it's just so beautiful. And I love Toko and Shigure being with Natsume for that. I love it. And then, look, I love season 7. Season 7 did not leave crumbs, y'all. Season 7 ate it up. I love season 7's OP and ED. They're some of my favorites. I freaking love it. But you know what? What's so crazy is season 5's OP is one of my least favorite. Season 5's ED is my favorite. And it's the song. It's the song. The song for that ED, that late summer, early fall vibes, that song that kicks in whenever the chorus and the bridge happens. Oh, that song, I love it so much. It's one of my favorite songs in Natsume. So yeah, season 2 and season 7 OPs, season 5 and season 7 EDs are my favorites. I feel like all of the OP and EDs in this series are amazing, but those just like set the tone for me. I love them so much. So we get Natori, and we get a Natori flashback arc. I love it. So the one thing I was going to talk about is, Natori, like he's filming right now. You know what? If Madara was with Natsume, they may have had the disgusted face, but he wasn't this time. He wasn't. Now, we didn't get to see Natsume's face when Natori first appears, and he's all sparkly, but what's interesting enough is that Natsume sees Natori as sparkly as well. So let's just make note of that. I was going to say in the one scene where the guys are like, the high school guys are like, he's creepy, don't hang out with him, no. I was going to say something that was kind of mean, and then I thought about it, and I was like, but it's one of those scenarios where you didn't have a lot of friends in high school, and then you show up at your high school reunion, and the guy that, like, made fun of you is, like, he peaked in high school, like, on the football team, and he hasn't done anything with his life since then, and you're like, oh, I see how it is. And I don't want to shame anybody for, like, living a standard job. Somebody's got to do those things. But it's just kind of like whenever bullies bully you in school and then you go on and do something and they're still, like, stuck in the past. It's kind of like, I got those vibes from those bullies. Just saying. So, yeah, he's like, the director is awfully particular, so I end up sitting around a lot. He's like, it's a nice change of pace. Natori looks amazing. So he's like, so the Biwa, Toko gave him like a little thank you gift. I liked that this is a little bit of continuity from episodes 9 and 10. And then Madara is stuck in the snake vines and has to get lifted out. It's so cute. He looks adorable, his little beans. When he's holding him up in the air and he's like, so cute. Adorable. And so Natori thinks back with the vines of when he met his first familiar, which is Urahime, in the same vines and situation. The interesting thing about this is there was something that Matoba said that I was like, ooh, that really hit me. Because Natori makes a contract with his familiars, right? He makes a contract, but let's be real. It's very much a friendly social contract. He's just kind of like, hey, I couldn't help but notice that you don't have anybody to be around and you're kind of lonely. Want to help show me the ropes and I'll help you have some company and we'll form a contract. It's business, but it's like informal business is kind of how he establishes it. But then you have Natsume, who is over here, who, if you recall, back in season 6, or it could have even been season 5. I don't remember exactly what season it was, but Matoba was like, oh, you have this contract with Madara, and Natsume's like, it's not a contract, it's a promise. And I was like, ooh, because that's suggesting that it's a promise, which suggests something much more intimate. Something much more intimate and personal. Right? So Natori is kind of in between Natsume and Matoba. He doesn't have like a promise with this yokai, with Urahime, but he has like a social contract. Then you have Matoba, who Matoba's whole thing is like forcing a contract or capturing, which we're going to talk about. Or artificial, which they have some of the artificial yokais, which Madara thinks are terrible, and they are indeed. So the AYs. So he has those, but he longs to have the connection with the yokai like what Natsume has, which is so crazy to think back on. We're going to talk about this as we go. So I love Madara just putting the vine away. He looks so cute, and then scratching his ear like a cat. Adorable. So we flash back to when Natori was just starting out as an exorcist, and he helped the guys using the paper techniques to bind them. He's like, I'm new here, but if you want to hire me, I can help. And he puts the seals back in. He does all of that, which is exciting. So yeah. And so we go back to that past. I had to restart because the episode took me back. And they're like, well, we could learn a thing or two from you. He's strong, but he's new, and he's not getting any normal customers, I hear. He's just a little brat who wants to show off his power. And so Natori starts out saying that his days are filled with useless noise, which is why I think he can relate to Urahime, because he's so used to people just saying these awful things and feeling kind of a little bit less than self-worth, so he kind of connects with Urahime. It's also interesting because knowing how Natori handled those first few years of him being an exorcist, and how he wasn't trusted, and people just thought he was showing off his power, I feel like Natori can connect to Natsume in a lot of ways, because I feel like when he first met Natsume, he saw a lot of himself in Natsume. But Natsume, as Natori has said himself, is a lot different than Natori, and he kind of looks up to him because of how different he is. So, okay, the moment we met Tomika, the moment we met Tomita, the moment we met him, I was like, his like wavy hair and his eyes, I was like, he looks like Nanase, kind of. But when we saw his last name, I was like, oh, well, they're not related. So I didn't say anything in the moment because I was like, I don't see the point of that. Because when he looks at there, he says Tomita Haromi. So I'll put him over here. Tomita Haromi. Yeah, so when we saw the last name, I was like, oh, okay, well, Nanase is not related to him, so we don't have to worry about anything like that. No, we did. I want to see, this is an English notebook. So it talks about decide, expect, hopes to have an online Spanish lesson. I've started buying to buy. They're just like little English lessons. It's so cute that they animated it written in English. That's interesting. Yeah. So to this day, we have the stick that says a meeting, and gives him the note about the thing. We never find out who sent him the note to go to the meeting. That's not revealed, and that's kind of creepy to me. Maybe I missed it, but I was like, I don't think we found out unless it was somebody wanting them to get exercised. But I was like, So we never found out. Someone invited via yokai Natori to the meeting. Matoba says it wasn't him. So as to who it was, we don't know. That's kind of mysterious and creepy. Does somebody want to see me? Interesting. The crazy thing about it that's kind of creepy is that the yokai showed up at his house. And the thing about it is, a lot of yokai know about the Natori family because they have a history, so who knows who it was? That's interesting. That's interesting indeed. So yeah, so Tomita's not feeling well, and so we get the idea that there is a yokai that as he sees him, the yokai is like grabbing a hold of him. So we feel like the yokai that was trying to get to Tomita was Nanase's familiar that was tainted. The idea of the familiars becoming tainted and leaving is still so mysterious in this world, because it's like, well, what makes them do that? What makes them turn tail? What makes them leave? What makes them get angry? And so is it hatred? Why does Nanase's familiar hate them now? What caused that? We don't know. And the show hasn't really yet. I mean, maybe the manga has. We'll find out when we get there. But the show has just kind of hinted around at the concept of familiars, and some of them like deserting, some of them being loyal. We've had Tanima's house, or not Takuma. I hesitate to say his name because I always confuse it with Tanima, but it's Takuma. Takuma's familiars stuck around, but some of them went kind of crazy. And then you have like the familiars that keep coming to the house after the owner has died, like we saw in season 7, and the ceremony they had to do. So the idea of familiars is still, I think, yet to be explored even further in the manga and in the series, because we've just got little like hints of how they are. We know that some familiars, like Natori's, are like ride or die. They're like, we're riding or dying for Natori. He's our man. We're sticking by thick and thin, just kind of like Madara is with Natsume. But then you have the artificial yokai that are used as the guards for Matoba, and then you have the familiars of Takuma, who some of them were loyal, some tried to betray him. Then you have this one that was corrupted and left and tried to attack a family member of Nanase's family. So there's that. Also, are we surprised that Natori just reached out and grabbed the yokai like what Natsume would have done? Are we surprised? No, I don't think we are surprised. I feel like Natori getting onto Natsume for acting recklessly is very much now Natori projecting how he was when he was Natsume's age and being like, oh yeah, I was the same way. I was the same way as you. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I was the same way. Also, Natori did not have his glasses on throughout this encounter with the yokai. So we established way back in like season 4 or 5 that Natori mainly wears the glasses to supposedly power up his abilities, but he can still see yokai without them, right? So this kind of confirms that he doesn't need the glasses to see the yokai. He's just wearing them as a memento to his mentor and to maybe give off the placebo that it makes him stronger. I don't know. But anyway, the animation of this scene when Natori grabs, it's like the yokai, the animation was amazing. I loved it so much. The one thing I am sad about is that Tomita seems to have not been friends further with Natori. And I know that we don't get what happened beyond this episode, but there is a part of me that feels that Natori did not try to rekindle that friendship once he found out that Tomita was related to Nanase, because he's like, oh, you might get targeted by other yokai, and I don't want you to get involved. So there is an interesting moment where Natori is a lot like Reiko, where Natori had a moment where he could have been connected to a friend like Tomita who was not associated. Tomita would have kind of been like a Taki or a Tanima or even a Nishimura Kitamoto situation, but he did not further that friendship with Tomita because he was afraid of Tomita getting hurt, and he didn't have the skills, he felt, to be able to handle a yokai like that and to protect him at the same time. So in an interesting twist, Natori kind of became like Reiko and just severed that connection and kept to the exorcist world, where Matoba's like his closest friend outside of Natsume now. So I thought that was an interesting connection. And then we find out that the yokai that was saying, ugly, you are ugly, go away. How long are you going to stay there? She was just talking to herself. That's so sad. That's so sad that you think she's talking about Natori and getting onto him and razzing him, and then when you find out she's just saying these affirmations to herself. And that's so sad. So he ends up finding out, like, I forgot that his, like, sleeping quarters were in the library, in the study. And so we find that he has this mark on his arm. Very Summer Hikaru died. All I could think about is Summer Hikaru died, and I was like, ah. And so he ends up going to the meeting where all of the exorcists and their familiars are. And we see Matoba under the table trying to eavesdrop. And his eye is not covered up yet. Mm-hmm. Also, can we just talk about the fact that Natori said Matoba's name on a first name basis with no san, no chan, no kun? Just saying, first name basis, y'all. Just saying. Just saying, as one does. This episode, seeing Matoba like this made me really sad, because Matoba, like when we first met him and he first encountered Natori, he was kind of like, Matoba felt very much like he is now. He was on his guard and was very much showing off, and he's like, well, I'm the future clan leader and blah, 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 and all this. And he was like, he had a very Draco Malfoy feel to him. And then in this episode, now that he's gotten to know Natori and they're friends, or in Matoba's eyes, it's like the closest he has to a friend, he's like a totally different person. He's not totally different from the Matoba that we know, but he's so much more playful, he's more open, he's more kind in a way. And I feel like that's because he doesn't have the burden of being the clan leader on his shoulders, and he knows that Natori isn't going to expect him to have that burden on his shoulders, so he opens up to him, and he's so much more nice and approachable, and that makes it so much sadder when we see him in the present time, and he's bound to this duty. He's bound to this duty as the clan leader, and he really doesn't have a lot of choices, and he doesn't have a lot of friends, and he doesn't have a lot of freedom anymore, and you kind of see what that's done to him. It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. And so also I feel like it's very telling that Matoba's been eavesdropping on what everybody says, so he knows exactly what they're saying about the Matoba clan. He knows. He also notices that Natori's been possessed. You can take that sniffing scene however you like. The shippers will take it however they like. He's like, I'm not supposed to be here. If the Matoba show up too much, it puts everyone on edge. I don't have any hopes for this meeting. The era when you could easily find a prodigy is long gone. So other than Natori, that also explains a lot too. So part of Matoba's MO is finding a prodigy to help with the exorcisms and all that, because he thinks that's going to make life easier. So Natori is, do we view Natori as a prodigy? I feel like we can. I feel like we can view him as a prodigy in a sense, because he's like, Matoba talks about how all these families have been in decline, and Natori is literally the opposite of that. He's like an up-and-coming exorcist despite his family's decline, so that's why Matoba kind of gravitates towards him, because he feels that relation. But that line there also makes so much more sense of how when he first met Natsume and why he's been so obsessed with Natsume, because Natsume's kind of a prodigy, and he's like, I thought that era was long gone and we wouldn't find anybody else. So that makes a lot more sense why he's that way with Natsume now. The present head says everyone here is from a declining family. I'm just saying, there's a lot said in this episode with Matoba that I'm like, oh, that's why he's that way with Natsume. That's why he views things that way. And I'm like, for us to be 7 seasons into a series and the mangaka is just now getting around to telling us these things, I'm like, Midorikawa plays the long game. Plays the freaking long game. And I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. Also, Nanase is here because Matoba is here. That's why. We all know this. So they've been listening around. They're like, I know it's undignified, but I'm supposed to gather info, so why not? He's like, all these people, they can't do anything on their own. And when it gets out of hand, they come crying to us. If you can find that cute, it means you have power. So I like that Matoba, it's bittersweet that Matoba was figuring out how people take advantage of his family from an early age. But again, it also explains why he has trust issues. Because he's had trust issues from the beginning. So yeah, he's like, did someone call on how they do it? I wish that Natori had told him how they did it, because I think Matoba could have found out. But he's like, oh, see you around, Shuichi. And that's when Natori gets out and Takuma is there. Now, Takuma did not invite him, so who knows? But yeah, okay, he says, I know that voice. I gotta go. Oh, so maybe Matoba did not come with Nanase. Maybe Matoba did not come with Nanase, but because he heard her voice, he was like, I gotta go before I'm caught. That teenage Matoba, I have a little soft spot in my heart for teenage Matoba. Just a little bit, right? I feel like there's like a little bit of hopefulness in teenage Matoba, and then once he becomes the clan leader, it's like that hope kind of expires a little bit, and it's really sad. But hi, wasn't expecting to get all the yokai Yuri as they're all trying to get into Nanase's harem, and she's like, no. Nanase's such a boss. I love her. I love her a lot. But also the fact that all of these female yokai look kind of the same and maybe similar to the one that pestered her relative makes sense. He's like, the Matoba aren't supposed to be here today. It's unusual for Nanase to be here alone. Yeah, the moment I saw her, I was like, wow, that one guy kind of looks like you, but had a different name. Are you not taking more familiars? And she's like, nobody. She brings up this point, because now she's associated with the Matoba clan, right? She says nobody good wants to be a familiar with the Matoba. So there's no good yokai. Which explains why the artificials have been created. They all want their own gains. The only useful ones are the ones that came to serve the Nanase long ago. One of them became tainted and ran away. It hurts to have someone you were counting on disappear. I feel like that line there is a source of a lot of angst with the exorcists. Also, want to talk about when she says that line, it's hard when somebody you rely upon disappears. As she says that, the gecko yokai, like, just slithers away on his neck. So I'm like, ooh, is that foreshadowing that if Natori gets rid of the gecko yokai, that something bad is going to happen? I feel like that's a sign. I don't know. So they talk about how the Matobas did not fulfill a promise to a great yokai, which is about the eye, and now they've lost a lot of trust. Because what yokai would want to work with them? Exactly. He's like, in the end, I never found out who called me. And then Natori says this line, and I was like, that's his whole character in a nutshell. Natori's whole thing is that he just needs to be someone needed by others. That is him in a nutshell. The reason why he helps Natsume so much is because Natsume needs him. Natsume needs a friend. And Natori's a great friend, so why not? He wants to be needed by others. And as long as Natsume needs him to help out, he's happy to do it. The crazy thing is, Matoba does need Natori. Matoba will deny it to the ends of the earth, but Matoba needs a friend. And Matoba has no friends in the Exorcist world. Everyone is just following him out of fear, out of spite, or because he's the leader of a powerful clan. But other than Nanase, who's like an elderly woman, he really doesn't have like a close friend. And Natori is like the closest thing to that for him. And if Natori could realize, I think Natori, because Matoba is so influential and like larger than life, Natori does not realize that Matoba needs a friend, aka him, and he thinks that Natori is fine or that Natori doesn't want anybody around. But it is exactly the opposite. Matoba is just, telling people otherwise. Yeah, this whole like dream sequence with the exorcist and the yokai calling him an exorcist, that was creepy as hell. This was a great episode. I was thinking of, you all will not see the character ranking, the tier ranking. I've ranked all the yokai. You all will not see that until like 2 weeks from now. If I were to rank this yokai, it would probably be under the cute, I guess. Would be what I guess I would call it. I realized I'll talk about it during the ranking, but I should have had a tier of just no thank you. And this one would have gone under it. But yeah, it would have been towards the bottom of the tier. So yeah, and then poor Tomita, like him just reading the book. Also, he doesn't have the glasses on when he's reading the book. I guess it's just there for looks. And then he sees the yokai under the tree, and the yokai asks him, Urahime asks him to exorcise them. He's like, I could tell you how to get that thing off your right arm. He's like, I'm ugly, so I can understand why you wouldn't trust me. I'm like, she's not ugly. And then she talks about how her previous, like, I once served a man of power but he abandoned me because I was ugly and useless. Now, we don't know who the man of power is. We don't know if it was her in her real life or her as a yokai and it was an exorcist she served. We don't know if it was Matoba clan or anybody else. Doesn't matter in the long run, but she was tossed away because she was deemed ugly and useless, which Natori, I feel, can understand that sentiment to an extent because people deem him like they toss him away a lot because he's weird and creepy according to them. So she's like, I've been so sad. I've suffered enough. But that line when Natori's like, I won't exorcise someone who's not evil. Y'all. So good. So good. So good. I love Natori saying that. It's amazing. And then he leaves her. Now, he gave her the name Urahime because about the gourd plant, right? And the thing is, he questions what he should have done. Like in that moment in bed, he's like, should I have lied to her and figured out how to exorcise it? Should I have just ignored the yokai and let it hurt Tomita? And like all the things he's saying are true that they would have made the scenario more convenient for him, but they are absolutely all the things he shouldn't have done. So I'm glad that Natori is constantly making himself suffer, thinking of all the things he should have done, but because he's a compassionate and kind person, he chooses the hard way. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that, Natori. Sweetheart, there's nothing wrong with that. He's like, I needed the strength to get involved without fearing reprisal. Oh. He's like, it feels like it's getting better. Is there something I can do? So then his like family, like Sumi-san, who's like the family maid, comes in and she's like, you've got a visitor. And it's Matoba. And he's like, wouldn't you be in trouble if you were at the disgraced Natori family residence? He's like, yeah, y'all got a lot of holes in these barriers. People could probably see me easily. I also feel like Matoba doesn't give a shit. He's just like, I don't care if I show up, people see me. What are they going to say? I'm like the future clan leader. They can't say anything. He's like, let's go. He's like, we're going to do some experiments. I'm going to rip that thing off your right shoulder. And so he's like, when did you notice? Well, I noticed at the meeting, it's absorbing your power. And so he gets him to confess that it was possessing a classmate. And then the moment he says his name is Tomita Horomi. He's cheerful and kind. I don't know much else. And he's like, okay. I feel like at that moment, Matoba decided, okay, Hiromi's related to Nanase, so we can't tell Nanase about this because we don't want her to know. We don't want her to know that he took her former familiar and had his familiar gobble it up. Or his would-be familiar gobble it up. Fascinating. I love all the methods. Like when he pulls out like all the different tools, he's like, he has all these talismans and like all these knives and everything. He's like, want to go? This is the Matoba that I really would love to see more of. I know he's so jaded now in the present, it's going to be hard to go back to this, and that makes the story even more bittersweet, but I love this form of Matoba. He's so, like, playful. And he's like, what does he say there? He's like, I thought we might be able to use this yokai again, but I guess not. It's all puffed up and can't understand speech anymore. So here's the thing. Matoba was going to get the yokai back to possibly have again and fix as a familiar for Nanase. Because, Matoba would never admit that he's kind, but that act is not very, what we consider the Matoba standard. But once he figured out that this yokai is not going to work anymore, he's like, well, I guess we'll have to exercise it. So he didn't care about Nanase's familiar and knew it was bothering her. But he's like, I guess we'll just have to exercise it. Once it shows itself, we'll separate it and put it in this pot. We'll lure it into this pot, but really he was going to have this yokai in the pot eat it. Our goals are merely aligned for now. He's like, I'm not doing it for your sake. And I'm like, sure you're not. Sure, Jan. You say that. So he asked Natori if he would take on a familiar. He's like, I know if I had a yokai who would make a promise with me, I would treasure it. That line there says so much about Matoba. It says so much. It says so much of why he's bitter, that because of what he does as the clan leader, because of what he's doing to the yokai and because of his reputation, no yokai wants to work with him. They all despise him or they want to attack him. And all he wants is a yokai friend. And that's why he's jealous of Natsume and his relationship with Madara, because it is a promise. And he's like, is Natsume treasuring that promise? And the answer is yes, he is. But Matoba wants that for himself. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, I want to know. Okay, I don't think we've seen him carry around the jar with the yokai in it throughout the series. I know he has the artificial servants that follow him around. I don't think that he has the jar with the yokai in it. And so they exercise and they get it out. And he says it's dinner time and feeds it in the jar. And he's like, what is that? Seeing the happy look on his face as he closed the lid, I understood. He didn't come to save me. He wanted to feed whatever he had in the pot. And so he's like, what are you doing with that thing you're raising? And he's like, oh, it listens to me just a little. I'm like, I don't remember it being in any of the other series. So I'm like, has Matoba been trying to nurse this little yokai in a jar for his own means to make it a familiar? If so, that's really sad. And that makes me feel very sad for him. And I was like, oh no. And he's like, don't tell Nanase. I'm sure Nanase would be like, what the fudge are you doing? I just want to know, does he still have the jar with the yokai in it? Are we going to see it in the future? Who knows? But Natori's saying, if you ever get in trouble, come here. And Matoba's, he's like, I could listen to your problems. And he's like, I'm fine. That I'm fine is the most lying I'm fine I've ever heard in my life. Like Matoba being like, oh, it's fine. I'm totally okay. Totally not repressing any horrible feelings. I'm absolutely mentally clear. It's like, no. I feel like this episode of the anime is setting up so much for these two characters in the future. And I am so hyped about that, and now really sad that we have to wait until season 8. No, I can read up to volume 24 of the manga, but I'm gonna look at how many. I know what's gonna happen. I am going to look at how many volumes of the manga that there are. And when I do, I'm going to be very sad because that means there's still so much left to go. How many volumes are there? I can get up to 24. There's going to be so many more left. Okay, there's 32. Okay, there's 32. There's 32. We have enough. 32, that's 8 more volumes. That's 8 more volumes past. We have enough. We can edit up to season 8. We've got enough for that. Yes, absolutely. We're fine with that. Of course. Of course. How long are they going to wait to animate that season? Who knows? But yeah, I was curious about what he said, so I looked into it a little bit. Maybe it was Nanase who called me to that meeting to exorcise the familiar that had fled. So in that moment when she looked over and it saw, when she had saw the yokai, did she look over on his shoulder and that's when she noticed it? Is that when she noticed it on his shoulder or moving away? The head of the Nanase clan 2 generations ago was named Hiromi. So they're probably related. Was it longing or hatred? There's no way to know. Maybe Matoba took care of the problem in secret for Nanase's sake. That's kind of the most heartbreaking part about this episode is there's no telling if the yokai was really sad and just wanted to... You have to wonder about, again, the corruption of the yokai is such like a not clarified point of the world building at this point. That's going to be interesting to see what more we get with that. But it's so sad because you're like, you just don't know. You're never going to know because it's been eaten by that one yokai now. It makes me angry, but I never saw that pot again. So we don't know what happened to the pot. What happened to the pot? What about the yokai that he was like training in secret like a freaking velociraptor? We don't know. Interesting. And he's like, I can't exercise you, but will you teach me things? You can ignore me, but if you'll talk to me, then I'll let you come with me. Aww. And he says, I can call you Urahime or Gourd Princess. Oh. Striving to become the person that I like to be. Oh my gosh. So good. So he calls her Urahime. And he offers her, he's like, I want to exercise you, but if you want to come along and help me out, that'd be cool. So they don't even form like a contract. They just are like being friends. Okay. Cool. I'm curious to know how he got the second familiar, but maybe we'll find that out along the way. But yeah, the fact that Matoba had this yokai he was trying to like nurse into a friend, I'm like, ah. So we don't know what happened to the yokai in the jar. Don't know at all. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Here's my thought. What if the yokai in the jar turned on Matoba and he had to exercise it? I think that's probably what happened. If we don't see it in the future, I feel like the yokai in the jar, when he became the head of the clan, he might have let it go, trying to think that he's like, hey, I fed you all these yokai and we formed this bond. Let's be friendsies. But then like you had a murderous yokai in a jar. When you turned it loose, of course it wasn't gonna be your friend. And then he had to exercise it, and then I could see that totally like destroying every part of him that was like, oh, I'll have a friend yokai anymore. We'll just have to see, won't we? Oh man, I feel really sad because I did not want this series to end. It's not over. I know they're gonna make a season 8. They have to. They damn well need to adapt whatever manga they've not gotten to yet. But I'm really sad because we've got the manga to talk about next week, and I'm excited for that. But I'm sad this is the last time I'm going to watch the anime for a while until we get into season 8. So if you've joined me all this time, thank you so much for your kind words, for your comments, for liking my videos, for watching with me. I'll be going over the manga, and we'll do a big review next week of that, and then we'll rank some yokai after that. But this series has been beautiful and wonderful, and I didn't think when I started this series I would latch onto it like I did, and I'll talk about that next week, but I'm really going to miss watching this week to week with you all. So yeah, sad days. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed these reactions and discussions. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Please no manga spoilers. We will get to it when we get to it, but in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more of Natsume's Book of Friends. A few more weeks, y'all, and I'll see you there. Bye.